Joining us now is Amish Tripathi ji. Amish ji, your thoughts on the new parliament? Namaste. Jai Hind.
Jayend, the parliament looks stunning. It's a beautiful building, and I've seen many of the videos and the plans for it. So obviously, it's very efficiently designed, very useful building. It'll be good for the MPs because I have been to the old parliament. And that was built around 100 years ago, built for a different India, built for an India that wasn't free.
Hmm.
Uh, so it was beyond capacity. Much of the infrastructure left a lot to be desired. It wasn't even earthquake resistant, apparently. One found out. So the new parliament is, of course, in infrastructure-wise, far superior. But I think it's fantastic designing as well. And most importantly, what I like as someone who loves India, who loves Indian civilization, a lot of the symbology of our ancient traditions are in the parliament, and that is truly heartening.
But this was the need for a new parliament more than about 15 years before delimitation exercise was spoken about by Meera Kumarji. I remember clearly.
Mm,
Why is
mm,
the opposition boycotting it? They called it a huge mammoth waste of time. They questioned the Central Vista project and the new parliament even during COVID. And now they
mm.
have tried to boycott it. Your thoughts there? Have
I
they
would
missed a
like to
moment in history?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to get into politics, Anand. I never comment on politics, but is a new parliament and is a new office buildings required? Yes, I would say so.
Hmm.
As someone working within the state, much of our buildings in Delhi were built during the British era, and that's why you'll notice that there is no proper prime minister's office or residence, because remember, in the British era it was run by the viceroy, by the president, and by the where
Hmm.
now the president sits. It wasn't built for a democracy. There was no house or office for a speaker, because again, the British didn't build New Delhi for a democracy. They built it for an empire. We need all the buildings and the infrastructure to run a democracy. One can argue that perhaps for many of the first few decades of India, we didn't have the money to invest. Uh, but now we are the fifth largest economy in the world. We have the money to invest to make sure that things run better. And even from an economic perspective, the government spends around 500 crores on rent in Delhi, on various private properties where government officers have to work from, and many of those buildings are truly not in a in do not have good facilities, does not aid efficiency. So actually, if the government builds many of these buildings, first of all, we'll save 500 crores per month. So for
Yeah.
all in a few years we'll recover the money in any case, the money that's invested. But more importantly, if all the buildings are together, like it is in London, the Whitehall, most of the offices are close by, files move quicker, things are a lot more efficient. The government efficiency will improve.
The other aspect is the Shaivite Parampara getting the center stage with the Sengol, 21 Adhinams, all highlighting Shaivite Parampara. So let me ask the Shiv Bhakt in Amish Tripathi, how was that feeling?
I'm obviously very proud as a Shiv Bhakt. The Sengol, it is believed that Lord Shiva himself manifests on the Sengol. On top of the Sengol is the Nandi, is Lord Nandi. But many also say it is the bull of Dharma. Gautam Buddha has been described as a bull in many Buddhist texts. Lord Vishnu is said to manifest as a bull as well. So it is, in a way, a uniting symbol. And I wouldn't, for me, despite being a very proud Shiv Bhakt, the nation always comes first. And I think this is a national symbol. You will notice, Anand, that while the Singol was made in Tamil Nadu, across India, North India, West India, East India, no one is saying that this is not our symbol. They know it is our symbol. It is a uniting symbol. And there is the Raj Danda,
Yeah.
the same term in North India, which has been described in the Shanti Parva of Mahabharat,
Yes.
uh, has been described in Chanakya's Arthashastra, in Thiruvalluvar's Thirukural as well. And this is supposed to represent how a state should be run for the cause of Dharma. And I will repeat once again, Dharma is not religion. Dharma is beyond religion. It's above religion. Religion is merely panth. Dharma is the correct way, the balanced way, the sustainable way. And that's
Yes.
what, in my mind, and I think in the minds of most Indians, that's what the Sengol represents.
Yeah, dharayate iti dharma is what is said. That which sustains is dharma.
Yeah.
So the Rajdand or the Sengol then becomes the symbol of sustenance. The
Right.
responsibility of those governing is to ensure that society is sustained. All pillars of society or samaj are sustained. That becomes the overall thing. But
Mm.
a building which is going to be for the next 150 years, you also said that it underlines our civilizational ethos, the
Mm.
designs.
Mm.
Why do you say that?
Look, so for example, the peacock theme in the Lok Sabha, the lotus theme in the Rajya Sabha, many of the displays that have been put up. I haven't seen it personally, to be honest. I'm in the UK. I'm in Cardiff, in Wales right now. But from the videos that I have seen, um, that's why I like it, because it represents many of the things that truly embody India. The old parliament was inspired by the Chausat Yogini temple of Madhya Pradesh, but much of the symbology within was actually British. Among the things, Anand, and I'm sure, I don't know how many of your viewers know, why is it that the Rajya Sabha color is red and the Lok Sabha color is green? Do you know that?
Mhm. Go ahead,
Because
please educate.
in the UK, House of Commons, which is the equivalent of Lok Sabha, the upholstery is green, and the House of Lords, which is the equivalent of the Rajya Sabha, is in red. So the symbology of the colors actually comes from the UK. And there's a UK reason for why House of Lords is red, because the color of the nobility and royalty was either red or purple. And the House of Commons used to actually sit in a chapel in the Parliament, in the Westminster Palace. And then the House of Commons was built relatively recently, 150 years ago. Green was the color of Christian piety in the UK. Hence, the House of Commons is green. That symbology actually was put into the Parliament by the British because they were following their traditions. We are continuing with it right now. It's strange how symbology works. I'm not questioning the red and green right now. Okay,
Hmm.
we have accepted it as our own. But the British built the Parliament with their symbology as they were. They were building something for the British Empire, not for the Indian people. But now what we see in the Indian Parliament is our symbols. And for anyone who says it's exclusive, no, I don't think so. There are many other symbology in there, which we had multi-faith prayers in there,
Yeah.
uh, but we shouldn't have a problem with our most ancient culture, which is the symbology of all Indians.
Hmm. Today also is the 140th Jayanti of Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. So
Hmm.
history-wise, are we acknowledging somebody who was brushed under the carpet, whose vision, whose contribution was brushed under the carpet, whose sacrifice?
I respect, Veer Savarkar ji. His thoughts, is he worked very strongly against the caste system. Even Dr. Ambedkar
Hmm.
acknowledged that in writing to Veer Savarkar ji. And I think the tradition in the Indian way is to hear all points of view and come to a consensus or our own. There are many different points of view which defined the Indian Republic, and it was very unfortunate that some were airbrushed out. Through the early decades of our independence, I think that approach was un-Indian. Now, every person who you meet, every book that you read, every thinker that you follow, every great leader that you may follow, there are things that you will agree, there are things that you will disagree with. But to completely suppress a point of view is un-Indian, and it was very unfortunate that happened to Veer Savarkar.
Hmm.
There are many things of his that I do agree with. For example, his very strong anti-caste approach and it is needed for India.
His political definition of who's a Hindu also was very important because that set the tone that it is
True,
beyond religion, it's geographic
true,
definition.
true,
And
true.
as long as you believe this is your Janma Bhumi, Matra Bhumi, Karma Bhumi,
Yeah.
and this was where your ancestors hail from, that
Hmm.
means you are Hindu because you're here in Hindustan. So that's also
Absolutely. Anand, even when Indian Muslims go to Saudi Arabia, what do you think they're called?
Al
They're called
Hindi.
Jinn. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we are one nation. And for me, like I said, if symbology comes from any religion, but it comes from our land, I think it should reflect in the parliament. It's one of the reasons why, when the Indian Navy, the flag, that was there was the St. George's Cross.
Hmm.
I would like Christian symbology, but Indian Christian symbology. St. George's Cross is an English symbology. We should have replaced it with some Indian symbology. Thankfully, that has been done now. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's symbology is up there. So we must include cultures, religions of all hues, but from our land, from India.
Final question. You are somebody who has the eye on the past, but you also keep a very clear look into the future. Why is this Sansad, the new Sansad, and this entire Central Vista important for our Amrit Kal and beyond, the generation next?
Let's see it from a few perspectives. One, the efficiency of the state. You cannot be a great nation if you don't have a strong and efficient state. The Mauryan Empire was perhaps among the greatest empires in human history because it had a very efficient state. The Indian state is strong. I won't deny that. But is it efficient? One can have questions on that. A lot of efficiency is about the infrastructure that you build up and the people that you train. This infrastructure that we build up will aid the cause of efficiency. All the offices being together rather than spread out all over Delhi, giving government officers and MPs the infrastructure that they need to do their jobs efficiently. So that's the first thing. Second thing, the symbology of our national capital. Remember, the British built Lutyens Delhi to inspire awe amongst us locals, amongst us natives, to show us our place. It was built like that. Whereas now, our monuments should reflect what we are as a people. It is that's why it is so wonderful that the Sengol is being put in the Indian Parliament, because the sovereign ruler of India, who we Indians have chosen, is the Parliament. That's where the power lies. So this symbology is important as well. I'm sure you're aware part of the Central Vista plan at this time is to make North Block, South Block into museums. They'll become public spaces, right? Where all of us can enter. What was imposing centers of power will now become places for us, for the people to go and experience India, because it'll be among the greatest museums in the world. I like the symbology that's coming up as well.
Thank you. Thank you for putting matters in perspective. Clear, candid, steering clear of the politics as always, Amish Tripathi, but also outlining why it is important to us as a society, as Sanskriti. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anand.